It started with a tray of food, cold beans, a broken promise. A whisper passed from cell to cell, and then all hell broke loose. When the dust settled, the prison was unrecognizable. Blood on the walls, guards taken hostage, inmates in control. But what no one tells you is why it really happened. This wasn't just a riot, it was a message, a revolution, a cover-up. This is the story of the prison riot that changed everything, the true story the state tried to bury, and the survivors are still haunted by. And it all began inside the walls of Blackridge Penitentiary. Tucked deep in the Appalachian Mountains, far from cities and cameras, lies one of the most notorious prisons in the country, Blackridge State Penitentiary. Officially, it housed just over 1,800 inmates. Unofficially, that number was closer to 2,400. Overcrowded, understaffed, boiling. Built in 1968, Blackridge was supposed to be escape-proof. In reality, it was a powder keg. Interview with former inmate. They called it the meat locker. You walk in fresh. You either rot or become something else. Ain't no in-between. By 2011, the conditions inside were worse than ever. One guard for every 67 inmates. Gang control in multiple cell blocks. Staff turnover so bad, some guards had never even fired a gun before their first shift. And in Cell Block D, the block where the riot would later explode, tensions were at a breaking point. Cell Block D, known by inmates as D-Hell, was home to the most violent offenders, murderers, cartel enforcers, ex-soldiers who turned on the system. The prison was divided by more than just bars, race, gangs, even religion. Every group had its own section. But something strange was happening in the weeks leading up to the riot, former guard speaks. They stopped fighting. I mean, not completely, but it was too quiet, like they were waiting on something. Like they knew something was coming. The inmates weren't getting quieter, they were getting smarter. On March 17, 2011, St. Patrick's Day, the kitchen ran out of meat. Again. The inmates were served cold beans, hard rice, and a single slice of bread. To outsiders, it was just another day in prison. Inside, it was an insult, a breach of an unspoken pact. Former inmate speaks. The food? It wasn't just bad. It was disrespect. You feed animals better than that. One dude, Spider, he was in for life. Told everyone, next time they bring this trash, we burn it all down. People laughed, but he wasn't joking. Spider, real name Tyrese Holloway, was a former gang enforcer turned radical inside. Charismatic, dangerous. The guards underestimated him. The inmates worshipped him, and he had a plan. For weeks, Spider and his inner circle orchestrated what they called the reset. Not just a riot, not just a protest, but a full-blown takeover. They bribed a rookie guard with drugs to leave doors unlocked, hid weapons in laundry carts, smuggled burner phones in through visitation, and they chose the date carefully. Former guard anonymized. It was a skeleton crew that night. Budget cuts. 2 of our regulars called out sick. We had no idea what was coming. March 25th, a Friday night. Low staff, high tension. The spark had been lit. What happened over the next 72 hours would be studied in law enforcement academies, buried in government reports, and whispered about by inmates across the country. This is not just a story of chaos. It's the anatomy of a rebellion. 58 p.m. 2 minutes before evening lockdown. On most nights, this is the dead zone. Showers done, dinner trays collected, guards ready for lights out. But not tonight. Somewhere in cell block D, Spider whispered 2 words that would echo through the prison system for years. Go time. Door 42 was never supposed to open after 6 p.m. It led to the maintenance wing, a blind spot in the cameras, and the perfect place to stage a riot. One of the guards, we'll call him Red, was on Spider's payroll. A quiet 24-year-old, fresh out of academy, swimming in student loans and desperate for extra cash. Former guard speaks. They offered $5,000 and a phone call home. That's it. They told me no one would get hurt, just a statement. I believe them. But this wasn't just a statement. It was a takeover, 8:03 p.m. The first fire started in the laundry room. Rags soaked in oil, ignited with a smuggled lighter. Seconds later, cell block D burst open like a cracked egg, doors unlocking one by one. Inmates flooded the hall, screaming, brandishing shanks carved from toothbrushes, pipes, and broken broomsticks. Former inmate speaks. You ever seen a man light his mattress on fire and throw it over the tier like a war banner? That's how it started. Overwhelmed, outnumbered, and unarmed, the few guards on duty locked themselves in the control room. Spider's people had already cut power to the radios. The emergency buttons, jammed with chewed paper and toothpaste. This wasn't random chaos. Spider had drawn up blueprints. Literally. Copies of the prison layout had been smuggled in over 6 months, one page at a time. His crew moved like a paramilitary unit, breaching supply closets, overtaking guard posts, confiscating keys. Former nurse speaks. They burst into the clinic screaming. I thought they'd kill me. But one guy, this huge dude, face full of tattoos, he just said, "You're safe. Sit down." They weren't out to hurt staff. Not yet. 2:37 p.m. 3 guards were taken hostage from the eastern corridor. They were dragged into the mess hall, which Spider had declared the new command center. One of them was Warden Malcolm Briggs's nephew. This anged everything. Prison insider speaks. That's when the state went into lockdown. They shut the power. They called in CERT. But Spider knew they would. At 9:14 p.m., a video was uploaded to a now-deleted YouTube channel. It showed Spider, calm and deliberate, speaking into the camera. Spider in archival video. We are not animals. We are not slaves. This is not just about food. This is about dignity. You treat us like monsters. We become them. But now, we choose what comes next. We have hostages. We have demands. You have 24 hours. The video gained 2.6 million views before it was scrubbed from the internet. It was the first time in American history that a prison riot had been live-streamed to the world. By midnight, Blackridge was surrounded. State troopers, federal negotiators, news vans. But inside, Spider's grip tightened. He wasn't just buying time, he was preparing for the next phase. Former FBI negotiator speaks. He wasn't a thug. He was a strategist. He gave us deadlines, tiers of demands, offered proof of life. It was like negotiating with a CEO. But beneath the surface, things were unraveling fast. Not all inmates supported the riot. Some had families visiting soon. Some were weeks from parole. And some just wanted blood. Rival gangs who had agreed to Spider's truce began clashing in the kitchen. One inmate, Jinx Alvarez, went rogue. He stabbed a guard in the thigh just to see what it felt like. Former inmate speaks. That's when the whole vibe shifted, from unity to survival. You couldn't tell who was still with Spider and who just wanted to watch it all burn. 3:42 a.m. The lights cut out completely. Blackridge went dark. And then, the screaming began. Blackridge State Penitentiary never fully recovered. 3 inmates dead, 1 guard permanently disabled, 42 injuries, dozens transferred, a system exposed. Spides, or disappeared into federal custody. No trial, no press, just a number. Some say he's in solitary, others say he cut a deal. But the riot sent a message far beyond those prison walls. You can cage the body, but not the voice. Today, Blackridge is just a name in a report. But for those who were there, the screams still echo. If you found this story as haunting and revealing as we did, do one thing right now. Like, share, and subscribe. We uncover the stories they don't want you to hear, from inside the darkest corners of the justice system. Got a story tip? Know someone who lived through a moment like this? Drop it in the comments below. You never know. Your message could spark our next deep dive. And remember, truth doesn't always come from the courtroom. Sometimes it rises from the ashes of a riot.